Good afternoon. I keep always fucking saying good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the preview for the game. It's Manchester United versus Arsenal in the FA Cup at the Emirates. Will a draw at Anfield be enough to convince United fans that we can go there and be competitive and kick on? Or will the players lapse back into silly mistakes and dull performances? What do you reckon, Sam?
I'm feeling a little bit more positive than I was against Liverpool, but I'm not going to go to full hog and be like, oh yeah, we're definitely going to win this. Like, I'm not at that level, but yeah, I'm a bit more confident, I'd say.
Because we have obviously been burnt before, haven't we?
Yes.
We've put trust in these players, and it seems
Yeah.
to never really repay. We have like a peak, and then we seem to drop for like 3 or 4 games. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping we don't. But look, we're already out of the Carabao Cup because we've been locked out by a North London team. It doesn't look very realistic that we're going to be touching even close to top 5 at this point. So it feels like Europa League and the FA Cup is literally all we've got at the minute, innit?
Yeah, I'd say the Europa League would be the priority. Just so we can like either get some Champions League football next season. That would be ideal, not just financially, but for the sake of us. Like, because I don't want to have to hear the Europa Conference League music. I don't want to have to listen to that. So yeah, it'd be nice to sort of make the Champions League, and yeah, if he can win the FA Cup, which I think is a tall task because there's big teams in it still. And obviously, we're starting with a big team in Arsenal. It's a tricky situation, but Ten Hag did it. Got to 2 finals, won one, so it's doable. It's definitely doable.
Well, you can only be as good as your last performance, in it. So you can only people will talk about form coming into this one. But I do think there was a massive change in that game at Anfield. I feel like for the first time, a lot of things were clicking, and you could really see Amarin's work on the pitch. And I know he was kind of brushing it off on it. He was saying like it's not. I don't want to say it's down to training time. It's more about application and these kind of things. So whichever way people think about it, it's going to be a good test regardless. But if you was to pick, if you want to nitpick from that performance, what would you tweak? What would you replace going into this Arsenal game? Or would you like to keep it very similar to how it was?
I'd keep it fairly similar. But obviously, I think what's cost us in the Liverpool game is finishing, wasn't it? There was a couple of opportunities there where we could have killed them. The Hoyland chance springs to mind where he just hits it straight at Alisson.
Yeah.
There was another opportunity sort of later on where somebody runs through. I can't remember what it was. And obviously the Harry Maguire one right at the death.
Yeah.
If you take one of those opportunities, you probably win that game. And we're probably talking like Amarin's masterminded another one. Like he's beaten City and he's beaten Liverpool. So yeah, I think finishing is a big thing. I don't think we have a forward bar Ahmad who's able to finish chances in a minute. Garnacho can't, Hoyland can't, Xerxes can't. We have to rely on Lisandro Martinez, showing him how it's done with a fantastic strike in the Liverpool game. So yeah, it's tricky, man. It's really tricky. I thought everybody else had a really good performance. I thought Mady was fantastic. I thought Ugarte was outstanding.
Yeah.
Dallo had a fucking great game as well, which we've not been saying that for a long time. The back three had a really good game. Delict, obviously, a couple of mistakes, but apart from that, had a really good game. And I thought Onana had a really good game as well, like which again is another thing where he's made a couple of mistakes in the past. So I think if every player is playing like they did against Liverpool, and we can finish some chances, I think we'll be fine. But that's the case, isn't it? We've done it so often where they haven't showed up or we haven't finished our chances and we've lost or drawn games. Like that's been the pattern.
I think the graphic we should have done for this is like Amarin going to touch, like, you see a plate if it's hot or not when it's under a thing, or when you just took something out of the oven, just about to touch it, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Because United fans don't know if they're going to get burnt. I think that's probably the biggest narrative going into this. Can they kick on? Is the consistency? And like you rightfully mentioned, with the strikers at the moment, they're struggling so much. Maybe it's just time to put fucking Lisandro Martinez up top. If he's finishing like that, you might as well put him up top at this point, because we don't have one. Like, if Xerxes started tomorrow, would you be surprised?
No.
No.
Like, it doesn't matter who we put in the number 9, does it? Like, you can put anyone in there and they're probably not going to score, which is worrying. And we seem to have some really bad luck against Arsenal in recent history, don't we? Like, obviously the most recent one, they scored 2 corners on us, and it's like
Yeah.
they didn't really play well, particularly, I would say.
No.
But they got
We
two,
limited a lot in that
yeah,
game. I
limited
feel
a lot,
like.
and they got 2 set pieces, and that was it. And then,
Mm.
yeah, I remember the one to get Ten Hag. Well, all he spoke about was the
Oh,
Garnacho
he
goal for
remembers
about a
it.
year and a
He
half. Yeah, do
definitely remembers
you know
it.
what I mean? So like, and we've looked the better team in that thing. And if that goes in, maybe we win that game. But then they end up getting 2 goals in what, the 88th and like 93rd minute or something, like Declan Rice. So seem to have a bit of a bad luck and a bad run, even though we don't particularly play bad against them. We just seem to not be able to get results, which is quite worrying. And it's at the Emirates as well, which is another thing.
But would the result, do you think, would that really kind of spark that belief back from fans, do you think, and from yourself?
Yeah, if you put 2 really good performances together, because obviously you can't draw in this, can you? Like someone has to come out as a winner because it's a knockout game. So if you could put a really good performance against Liverpool where probably should have won it, but really good performance and came out with a draw, and then you could beat Arsenal and again a good performance, that does start something, doesn't it? You got 2 games there in a row against 2 top teams, 2 rivals. That puts you on a path of like, okay, we can do it. And then after the Arsenal game, it's quite a favourable run, really, isn't it? The sort of teams we face, Southampton straight after it and stuff like that. So you'd hope that sort of gets the momentum going into this like run of games where you can get some momentum going.
Yeah, if we're focusing on individuals going into this, I thought Bruno. I know there was others like Ugarte and Ahmad and a couple more, but I feel like Bruno was really good at Anfield in a game where, like, he doesn't show up a lot in big games. I think that's probably
Loses
fair.
his head, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's not. He does. He's moaning at refs. He's getting sent off, and you've seen evidence of that this year. Even in the Tottenham game where he got sent off as well. Like it was just been an absolute mess for quite a lot. But that one at Anfield, I felt was really measured, and he was arguably one of the best players on the pitch. Now plays in a similar position to Declan Rice, where it's either got to be that kind of in the hole or on the right side where he will be as an 8 kind of tracking back as well, who's also in fantastic form. For Arsenal. So I feel like that area of the pitch could be really key, especially with like Ødegaard in there as well.
Yeah.
You win that midfield battle, you give yourself half a chance in it.
Yeah, well, we did really well. Our midfield did really well against the Liverpool midfield, which I think everyone would argue has been one of the best midfields in the Premier League. McAllister, Gravenberch, and who am I forgetting?
McAllister, Szoboszlai,
Jones, whoever you want to sort of stick in that sort of 10 position, like they've been like absolutely fantastic. I thought we did extremely well against them. Obviously, Arsenal had a really good midfield last year. I don't think they've hit the heights this year. Like, I just don't. Like, I think Rice has been off it. I think Ødegaard in recent weeks has been off it. What was the statistic you said about goals and assists?
4 goals and assists combined since April.
Which, for an attacking midfielder who's supposed to pull the strings of the team, that's not good. That's really not good. And then Partey, which outside stuff that's going on, which I'll try not to sort of comment on in a minute. Again, not been great. He's been shifted to right back. He's been moved about the pitch and stuff. So that midfield hasn't been great either. So you'd think with the performance that you're putting against Liverpool, midfield should be feeling quite confident against them. Like on paper, that's a very good midfield, but in reality and form-wise, they haven't been that good.
Yeah, I think I probably agree with that. The lacking chance creation, the lacking a striker. We touched on it when we did our Premier League predictions. I recorded that earlier. That'll be out on Monday. I want to say Monday afternoon potentially. Me, Sam, and Shreyas have just finished filming that, so that should be interesting when that drops. But we was discussing that. They have got probably don't seem like the team like it was when they got 8 points ahead or 10 points ahead by Christmas. They seem completely different, and they've gone away from the way they was playing to this kind of. I think
Stoke City.
This Stoke City kind of, stodge, I think is the word Carl Anker likes to use quite a lot. So yeah, I'd agree with that. If we're looking for any kind of stats to go to give us a bit of positivity, Manchester United have eliminated Arsenal from the FA Cup more than any other side in the competition's history 8 times, while Arsenal have knocked out United more than any other team 7 times. So the scales are balanced. United progressed from the 3rd round of the FA Cup in each of the last 10 campaigns since a 2-1 loss to Swansea. They've kept a clean sheet in 9 of their initial 10 third-round matches in that run as well. But let's focus on Arsenal a little bit. Like we said, not the team he was when he was in pole position. everything we've already spoke. They're constantly chopping and changing, trying to find this balance as well. Do you think they, just to flip the narrative, they might be worried about us having watched that performance at Anfield?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's obviously Arsenal league title chases, or I don't even know if you'd say they're still in the race, but
Yeah, I
it's,
think, yeah,
the Premier League's weird though, isn't it? Like, because
exactly.
Chelsea were in it, and now they lost 5. They've not won in 5, and
They're
then
6 points
Liverpool.
behind Sam but Liverpool's still got a game in hand. So if Liverpool win
Right.
that game in hand against Everton, it's 9
So
points.
they're gonna have to rely on Liverpool slipping up, aren't they? And they're gonna
Yeah.
have to have a really good run going in. So yeah, I'd say they would. Like, we've just stopped and almost beaten arguably the best team in the league. And they haven't fallen off. Look, before they faced us, they looked like unstoppable, didn't they? Like, they were just destroying teams left, right, and centre. I think the only team to get a result against them is Nottingham Forest, and we know how well they've done this season. So yeah, they probably looked at that and gone, they've actually shown up there and they've put in a performance. But at the same time, there's probably is a part of Arsenal who go, this is the same United team who down tools all the time. They've had performances like this before. Like, we've spoke about the Aston Villa performance on Boxing Day, not last year, the year before. It was like, this is the turning performance, 3-2 at United at Old Trafford, fantastic game, and then we just lost 3 games in a row after that. So it's tricky to say, oh yeah, this is a worrying team, but at the same time, there's still definitely sort of confidence issues in United, where I think they're not going to be as worried as maybe they would be if they were facing Liverpool, for example.
I think if you look at the game against Arsenal when we lost at the Emirates, like we said, it was very tight. There wasn't much going on. Had they not had set pieces, United probably could come away from that. And I know set pieces are a big part of the game, but they could have come away with that with a point at least. Then at Anfield, I thought they had more execution going forward, because it was never, in reality, you look at the XG in the majority of games, we was pretty watertight. Defensively, we was okay, but it's always been going forward, chance creation, finishing, and these kind of things. If they start to pick up that bit of form, I think that's why United fans, and random guy included in the chat as well, who's saying, is it mad to feel confident? I think that's why it is, because I think Bruno having a good performance, I think Ahmad scoring as well. Like, the forwards are just starting to turn that current a little bit now.
Dallo having a good performance as well. Like, when your wing backs, because Dallow's been terrible, I think, pretty much all season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He had a great performance. And when your wing backs, which are integral to this Ruben Amorim system, if they're having a good performance, and we know Mazraoui's stepped up continuously throughout this thing, but then Dallow's having a great performance as well, which then helps out the forwards with the overlaps and all that sort of stuff. So when he's having a good performance, it only elevates the team because he's an integral part of this system.
Arsenal are in the weird limbo situation at the moment, aren't they? Because you're starting to see, I was talking about the tides turning them for us, but for them as well, I feel like the fan base are starting to go, and we know what their fan base are like. They're probably the worst in the Premier League. But it does feel like they're starting to turn against Arteta now. I want to try put, I know you never would be, but I want to try put you in Arsenal fans' shoes, let's say, for example. Would you want to keep Arteta, or would you stick? Would you get rid?
I thought that it's very hard to put yourself in an Arsenal fan's position, because they seem very bipolar at times, don't they? Like, if they win a couple of games or they get close to something, like, we're going to win the lot, we're going to win the quadruple, like this, all this shit. And then they go around, like, they have a couple of bad runs, it's Arteta out and all this sort of stuff. So they just seem a bit sort of weird. Like, ever since Arsene Wenger, I can't sort of decide, like, how Arsenal fans feel, because they were hounding him out towards the end, weren't they? This was like one of their most successful managers in history, and they were hounding him out towards the end as well. So it is quite weird. But then you look at it on paper, like, Arteta's been there 5-6 years and spent quite a lot of money, a few 100 million, 600, 700 million, and he's won what? An FA Cup, which
with Unai
Emery's team. Like, how many times do you give him each year before you go, look, this guy's not going to get us over the line? He's going to be forever a bridesmaid, never a bride. You're like, is this going to continue? And it's like, that was Arsenal for a lot of years under sort of Wenger, wasn't it? They finished 4th a lot, finished top 4, and that was what they were. Like, so it's tricky, man. Like, I think if he doesn't win something this year, I think there might be some rumblings in the summer, and they might have to sort of look at things, because you need a manager to get you over the line, and I don't think he's the guy.
Well, we've got more and more people joining the chat. I want to get people involved in this conversation. We've got a Newcastle fan actually in the chat called Jordy. I'm interested to get your perspective as well, because obviously you guys have just played Arsenal. So talk to me about that game, the specifics in that, and how you felt about it. Because obviously you won 2-0 there, and Arsenal, I know there was quite a bit of chance creation, but couldn't really take anything from the game. Random guy also saying, by the way, Arsenal signings haven't been half as good as ours. That's what I'm saying. It's like their window, they brought in Calafiore, Mikel Merino.
Yeah.
And it was another player. Who else did he bring in? Oh, it's gonna bug the life out of me. Who else did he bring in now? There was 3 players. I know there was 3 players. Someone help me out in the chat. Calafiore, Mikel Merino, and one of them that's been a flop. That's gonna really bug me. Someone will get it in the chat. But basically, they've had a shit window.
Merino's been poor. Like I've seen him play. I don't know what he offers. I really don't. I don't know what his thing is. Calafiore looks great, but he's been injured quite a lot, hasn't he? Like he's not been available as much. So it's that you just look at that thing. You're like, if they got a striker, they might actually have something, and they just didn't go do it. Like they just didn't, and it's so bizarre.
It's surprising that they win it.
Yeah,
I don't get why they wouldn't go and buy it, because they clearly need one. Like maybe it's like the what do you call it? Putting faith in Havertz, but Havertz. I don't think you'll win a league title with Havertz at the top. I really don't. It was Raheem Sterling who they got in.
That's gone extremely well, hasn't it? Has he played a minute? Has he played any minutes
with him as well? Didn't we? Oh my goodness me, Jesus! To be fair, with the way our attack's going at the minute, he'd probably be starting for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, look. In general, with Arsenal and United, you always have these iconic moments, don't you? Iconic games in the FA Cup. You've had Giggs in '99 in the semi-final. Schmeichel last-minute save with Bergkamp in the same game as well. I think 2003 they knocked us out. 2015 there was a goal from Danny Welbeck, if you remember it, that knocked us out.
Yeah,
like there has been moments.
The 2003 one was that Nistelrooy missed a penalty, and then they were like. Yeah, they were all like, Keown was getting in his face and all that sort of stuff. They were shoving him and stuff.
In the final as well, 2005, they beat us on penalties in the FA Cup, and they won. So there's history there. Do you think this is set for another classic, or do you think it'll be a bit of a snooze fest?
I don't think it'll be a snooze fest, but I don't expect like an all-time classic, because, like you said, the way Arsenal are playing it at the minute and the way they're setting up is like very stodgy. They're relying on set pieces. Their finishing is not quite there. Don't really have a set forward who's going to create anything. Like Saka's missing; he's out for a while. Havertz, not great. Gabriel Jesus seems to have ended his little run of form, done he now? Like didn't sort of come good in its Newcastle. So I don't see him like being the all-conquering Arsenal that they looks like they might be. So, and then obviously our forward line is misfiring as well. So I think it'll be a bitty game where there'll be moments of like quality, but I don't think it'll be free flowing like fantastic football end to end stuff like it should be, like it would be in the day. So I think it'll be a tricky game, but there might be some moments of quality that we might see from both teams.
With that in mind, who are your ones to watch for this game? One from United, one from Arsenal.
Arsenal is tricky, man, because Odegaard's not that great at the minute. Havertz is not that great. Like it's really hard to pick somebody out. You have to sort of look at their defensive line. I'd say like Saliba is a really like tricky customer. Gabriel as well. They're really dangerous on set pieces. They seem like, how many goals has Gabriel got for set pieces? Like 5 or 6 or something.
Most in the league.
Like, so he's a danger in the box, and we know how bad we are when it comes to defending corners and set pieces. And obviously they're both very good defenders. One of the sort of best centre back pairings like last year. So and their goalie's really good as well. Raya, like he's a fantastic goalie as well. So getting past them is going to be tricky. So I'll pick out Saliba. For United, has to be the new contract signed, isn't it? Ahmad. He's the guy. Like he's the X factor, the chemical reaction in this team that's going to create something that's going to look like he gets you excited, gets you going. Anytime he gets on the ball, it looks like something might happen. He's the guy that you got to look at and be like, he's going to create something for us. He's going to score a goal. That's the guy you got to look at. I'd love to shout out Ugarte, but I think I sung his praises enough in that the Liverpool game. But Ahmad.
You always see that, don't you, when these like when it's something that's been announced, like a new contract, they do seem to like have the
Yeah.
tail up, don't they, when they go into a game?
Yeah.
So Ahmad would definitely want to keep an eye out for. Bruno, like I said, is purring at the minute, so that's the one I'd go with. For me, I don't know why, I'm worried about Martinelli. Now, Martinelli for Arsenal, as he's been very inconsistent. Sometimes he's amazing, sometimes he frustrates the life out of you. But I'm just worried about his speed. And it all depends. We're going to get into the team lineup shortly. It all depends who plays on that side. But let's say it was De Ligt again. I would worry about Arsenal on a quick transition with Martinelli on that left-hand side. Just me personally, because I've seen issues there in previous games. So, yeah.
Like you said, though,
he's one to go with.
He's inconsistent. Like you said, he might show up at this game and you might not see him.
Yeah.
Just might go. Like that's what he does sometimes. Like he just disappears for games. So you don't know what you're gonna like really sort of see from him.
Yeah. Right, 5 quick fire questions. I want you lot to get involved with this as well. Type in on keyboards, phones, whatever it is. Will Bruno Fernandes score or assist?
Assist, yeah.
Will Arsenal score from a corner?
No.
If Arsenal lost and got knocked out of the FA Cup, should he go? Arteta.
Arteta, no.
Which player would you take from Arsenal right now? I know you're probably thinking, I'll take a few, because I'd take a few as well, but who would be the main one?
Pick the main one. I probably would take Declan Rice.
Declan Rice?
I probably would, yeah.
Who would I go with? Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because I'm thinking, I won't take Havertz necessarily. I know he scored more goals than Højlund, but I think there's better options around. I might have one of the centre-backs, I might take Saliba or something.
Good shout.
In that
that was my other shout.
Yeah, I think it'd be phenomenal. Prediction for man of the match?
Ugarte.
Yeah, I think
he should have got it. He should have got it at Liverpool, but they gave it to Bruno. But yeah.
Yeah. We've lost already. Bayern Day confirmed the starting goal by Amorim, and we all know what's going to happen. That's from Joshua Owen. He also says Arsenal are obviously going to score a corner. Z says, our record isn't great at the Emirates, but I don't think Emirates is as scary as Anfield, so I don't see why we don't go into this game not looking to win. Spot on. Jordy's saying Arsenal going to score from the corner, but ends 2-1 United. Random guy said he takes Saka, Raya, Rice. Havertz would fit the system. He probably would, to be fair. Yeah, it's a good point, that. Z said he'd take Ødegaard as well. Yeah, Ødegaard is in a strange realm at the moment. I don't know what's going on with him, but hopefully he doesn't decide to fucking turn up on Sunday anyway. I'll put it that way.
Please don't.
Fingers crossed, because he is a phenomenal player when he does get going. Okay then, Sam, let's do the starting 11s. Kicking you off first, so talk me through yours.
I have to remember what I did.
I can tell you if you want.
And I've got it on the screen now. So yeah, Bayern because Ruben Amorim's confirmed that he's going to start. So I didn't pick. I didn't think he should, but
yeah,
this is what Amorim has said. I've gone with Yoro, Maguire, and De Ligt. I think he might rotate and give Yoro an opportunity. I know Leach had a fantastic game against Liverpool, so I just think he might rotate a little bit. I think Maguire for the set pieces and De Ligt for the set pieces, like big lads. I think you need them. Obviously, Yoro's a big lad as well, so I think that's why he might stick with that. Mazraoui and Dalot, because he just doesn't seem to want to stick Ahmad back at wing back, does he? Like I think I'd like to see that, but he seems to not want to do that. So he's going to go with that. Mainu and Ugarte, I think that's our best midfield pairing right now. So stick with that. It worked really, really well. Ahmad and Bruno, both really great games against Liverpool. Keep with them. And then Højlund purely because it's a toss of a coin in it. Højlund or Xerxes, take your pick. And I don't really have faith in either one to score a goal. So I've gone with Højlund because I think that's the guy I would go with if I was the manager. I'd go Højlund, but you could go either way, really. Yeah,
there seems to be a big debate about him at the moment, isn't there? A lot of people kind of not writing him off, but saying he's not ready. He's still too raw. He needs someone better up there at the minute. Yeah. But hopefully he does come good because we've seen it in the Premier before, haven't we? We've seen him hit that run of form and he starts bagging. So
Europe as well.
Been good in Europe, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Now, my team's not too dissimilar. There's literally 2 changes from what and it's literally the back 3. So
Yeah.
I've put Euro on that right hand side because of the
Mhm.
specifics I was talking about before with like Martinelli if he does start, and
Yeah.
Declan Rice is quite strong as well. So I feel like Euro,
Mm.
and with it being a different competition, I feel like he might come in. Leach, like you alluded to before as well, thought he was fantastic against
Mhm.
Liverpool. I remember I watched the analysis as well from a couple of people I respect who talk about they kept getting the jump right. So like
Yeah.
Delay and Leach are like every time he could step up because there was 3 or 4 players behind him,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they kept timing it perfectly. And that's what
Mhm.
like Johnny Evans. If you remember in the Ipswich game, Sam,
Yeah. Yeah.
he was trying to do that one, and he got caught, and then
Yeah.
there was just spacing
Too,
behind.
he's just too slow, isn't he? He's just
Yeah,
not built for that. Jamie Carragher won it on Monday Night Football. That I watched that. He was talking about that jump and that moving forward, and then said like having the options around you, like when they jump because they've moved up forward. When they get the ball or they snatch the ball, you've got players around you like the midfield
mm,
or the fullbacks and stuff like that. So you've got options. Whereas if you don't jump and then you go in, you've
mm,
just got these massive spaces. So there's nowhere to get the ball. So you have to turn around and go back again. And
yeah.
that's the sort of thing you transition. So yeah, I agree with you.
And that's where it comes from with time on the pitch, isn't it? Training.
Yep.
And he's had even more time this week. He's had a full week to get prepared for this
Yep.
game. And Arsenal have obviously had a game midweek against Newcastle, so that could be an advantage that we've not even spoken
Mm-hmm.
about either. Steph saying, congrats on 10k subs, Nick and Sam, well deserved. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
There is something coming out on that, so keep an eye out for it.
Tomorrow.
And we're also doing a live as well tomorrow, so
Yep.
keep an eye out for that. A couple of things coming your way. Appreciate all the support as always, guys. Yeah, I've got that's basically the same team. Maz, Menu, Ugarte, Dalot, and then Ahmad, Højlund, Bruno for the exact
Yep.
same reasons that you were discussing. With that being said, and again, everyone get involved if you're watching this live or later on. What score are you going with, Sam?
Oh, I've gone back and forth on this. I really have. Like,
Tricky, innit?
I've gone either way. It's going to be a close scoreline. Fuck it. United 2-1.
He's putting himself out there. You're touching the
Yeah.
toaster. He's touching
Yeah.
the hot plate.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna get burned here, aren't I?
Yeah, they've done it to us before. It is hard because you're like, well, if you could just perform how they did at Anfield, you would be confident and get something at the Emirates. Because
But
Liverpool
there's
are a better team.
there's no guarantee that we will. That's the
There's
problem.
no guarantee. There really isn't. I've gone with, and people won't like this, but I've gone with a 1-1, and then I think Arsenal win it in extra time or penalties. I don't know if there is. There still is extra time, right? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Does he not go straight to penalties now?
I don't know. Well, whichever method,
Yeah.
I think that's what will happen.
Oh, I
I
hate
think
that.
Arsenal will
I
score
hate
first. We will get a goal back
Yeah.
into extra time, and then Arsenal knock us out. I think.
I really
That's
don't
where it's
like
gonna
that. I really don't
go.
like
No,
that.
I don't. But that's the narrative, the way it goes usually with United, in it. Things happen that we don't like, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah, random saying 2-0 to Manchester United. You think we're gonna go to the Emirates, keep a clean sheet,
Not
and win
concede.
2-0?
No.
What?
We will concede. We'll definitely concede.
I hope you're right. Random. True Cushman says 3-1 to United. Mate, this Anfield performance has got a lot of people confident.
Yeah.
I like it. It's nice to be confident, I suppose, but United edge it 2-1 in normal time after being 2 up, concede a late goal, then squeaky bum time. That's from Steph.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
even worse. That's fucking horrible. I hate that. I hate that. Really.
How many
hate
games
that.
does it feel like as well we've had where the last 10 minutes has been fucking horrible?
Just
Horrible.
nerve shredding anxiety every time.
Yeah.
Like, it's just shit.
Remember the Spurs game in the Carabao? Because
Oh.
obviously we went down, Forster made those mistakes.
Yeah.
And Evans scores as well, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah.
it's a possibility, it might
Yeah.
happen. And then
And then
you're
it
like,
just
yeah, never mind. Doesn't matter.
on from a corner.
Yeah, the joys of supporting Manchester United. But that is your preview for the Arsenal game. Of course, we will be live on Sunday, pre-match and post-match with all the action around the game. So do come and join us if you'd like. Tomorrow, I think me and Shreyas are doing an afternoon show, and then we also have a live that we're sorting out in regards to the 10K. We get loads of lads on and go through stuff out.
Yeah, if you want to come reminisce about the start of Real Reds, watch some clips of some old videos, and there's going to be a little quiz that I'm going to test the lads on and see how their knowledge is of Real Reds and see if they know as much as they do. I've been on the channel for this long. But yeah, thank you for everybody who left a comment on the 10K thing. We appreciate it so much, and it wouldn't happen without you guys. So yeah, thank you so much, all the sort of regulars who show up and the new people who found our channel and stuff like that. So thank you very much.
Everyone is welcome. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And yeah, we'll see you guys over it, of course, for the game and stuff. So take it easy.